kick off the second half of the show, we're pleased to be joined by one of our new favorite restaurants here in our local area in the 4 communities over in Greater West Bloomfield. Chris Gadulka, the executive chef, and the farm manager, Kristina Pruccoli, join us from the Sylvan Table restaurant in Sylvan Lake. Chris, Kristina, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you guys on. And so the Sylvan Table opened officially, had the grand opening on June 1st. So it's been now a couple of months that you've been in operation. How are things going over there?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It's been a tremendous opening process. We're almost 3 full months in, and it's been foot to the floor the entire time. We've been amazed at the reception that we've gotten from our community and everybody around, as well as just the everyday spectacular conversations we have with our guests, and it's been almost overwhelming and just very humbling and heartfelt, awesome.
And this is really a special arrangement that you have over there, where you're growing a lot of the food and you're cultivating a lot of the food that you're serving to your customers really right on site at the restaurant there at the farm that's right behind the restaurant building over there on Inverness in Sylvan Lake. And so that, of course, drew a lot of excitement and a lot of anticipation from the community as you grew toward your grand opening on June 1st. And I know initially after that opening, it was next to impossible to get a table at the Sylvan Table to sit down. Has that momentum been sustained over these past couple months, or is it becoming easier for people in the community that want to try the Sylvan Table to come into your restaurant?
So that momentum is still going on. We still see a line at the door every day before 5 o'clock. However, we recommend reservations, for dining inside for the tables, but our bar is first come, first serve, and the patio is first come, first serve. So there are definitely tables available. It's just, on spectacular days like this, there might be a small wait, but it's a touch easier than the first month, but we do a rolling 60-day booking. So we open our reservations 60 days out from today, and we're seeing those fill up extremely quick. So usually anything 45 days and out now is pretty well booked or really close to full already. So it's like I said, it's been humbling, and just the reception that we've received is just beyond anything we could have expected.
Executive Chef Chris Gadulka and Farm Manager Kristina Pruccoli join us from the Sylvan Table restaurant located on Inverness, just off of Orchard Lake Road in Sylvan Lake, Michigan. And you opened on June 1st. It's still in the middle of the pandemic, but you took some special extra time from when the restaurant was ready to be open, the physical building itself, to when you actually did open, to do proper training with your staff, to really go through the processes that you had in place. And then you're opening at a time where COVID-19, the situation was a lot friendlier, as friendly as it can be, than it is at this moment in time. How have things changed since June 1st, given the current situation in terms of your operations at the Sylvan Table, to keep those that are coming into the restaurant, those that are seated outside potentially at the restaurant, as safe as possible?
So we are seeing some uptick in obviously guest reception to coming in, and we are doing our best to ensure that everybody is still relatively socially distanced. We're accepting and accommodating to everybody. We do recommend that people come in masks. We make sure that our outdoor seating is available and accessible to anybody who wants it. And then we're following all of the CDC, Michigan Health Department guidelines for everything. We have ensured that our staff is vaccinated, and that's something that's just very important to us. We not only want to keep all of our guests safe, but we want to keep all of our staff safe too. We can't do this without the people that are involved, and that's something that we find is just the number one priority for us.
And how about maintaining staff during this time? Because that's also been an issue for a lot of other businesses, especially in the restaurant industry and in retail and those kinds of industries. Not only has it been tough for people to bring new staff in, part-time staff, full-time staff, whatever the case may be, it's been tough to retain people. What has set your business apart from maybe others in your industry that is encouraging people to stick around and provide the ability to have the staffing necessary to maintain the momentum of your restaurant after its opening in June?
So a lot of it is the location and what we have to offer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the building.
The concept of this project as well. I mean, many individuals are motivated, especially if not anything, this pandemic has illuminated the food security and sovereignty. And so I think there's a big momentum of individuals who, in the community, especially here, who want to learn more and also support projects like this.
And so, Kristina, let's continue on with that, because so much of the focus of this restaurant has been on keeping the ingredients local and really on site in some cases, literally, where you're cultivating hyper seasonal, as it's marked on my notes, ingredients that are used in all of your dishes at the restaurant. So what is sourced on site and what do you import? And when you are importing any other food materials, where are you looking to get those from, especially with your hyper local focus?
Well, growing on the farm currently are a lot of our herbs and salad greens, radishes, tomatoes, eggplants, summer squash, zucchini, green beans. I mean, there's a lot of crops that we have that are pulling in right now. And then locally, we support a lot of small farms in the area, and Chris can speak to some of those.
Yeah, so we're pulling in produce from Maple Creek Farm in Yale, Michigan, Reroute in Pontiac. We've used fisheye farms for our meats. We're using DeVries, sweetgrass. You know, we're trying to keep our area to about a 250 to 300 mile radius. We have pulled some items from Northern Ohio just based on ripening time. Usually that's our like apricots and peaches. But as the season progresses in Michigan, it all switches back over to what's going on in Michigan. So, you know, I mean, this is, as our guests are coming in and asking us, you know, what can I expect to see? You know, right now tomatoes are huge, and everybody knows Michigan tomatoes are the best. So this will be the only time of year, you know, until they run out, that you'll see a fresh tomato on the menu. When they're gone, we'll still have tomatoes, but it'll be what we've harvested during the season that we found a way to preserve, you know, through fermentation or dehydrating or sun drying or pickling, you know, in some way. And that'll be the same as it is with all of our produce. You know, and that gets us through the winter until we get our first spring harvests again. As well as we have, you know, Kristina working 3 amazing high tunnels out there that will be providing, you know,
winter greens.
Yeah.
So I'll be growing for all 4 seasons. So those tunnels will be in production, typically with spinach and kale and overwintering carrots. But they'll be in production, so we'll still continue to have produce right from the farm during those winter months.
We're joined by Kristina Pruccoli, the farm manager of the Sylvan Table restaurant, and executive chef Chris Gadulka as well. And Kristina and Chris, more recently, your business did go to the Sylvan Lake Zoning Board of Appeals, hoping to expand the reach of your farm beyond just the plants, but also to have some animals on site so that you can provide some of the animal protein as well that's in some of your dishes from right there on site. And there's a little bit of controversy surrounding that. There's definitely a heated debate from that CBA meeting last week, and no decision's been made on that. But just to stay as neutral as possible and get your perspective from your business to the community that maybe wasn't at that meeting and had just heard through word of mouth through neighbors about what went on there. Why now, and why at this point do you want to add then animals to the farm there in Sylvan Lake to help benefit your restaurant?
Well, animals play a very large role when you're looking at land as in whole. So they can offer so much more to what we are doing in a larger scale. So they can prep an area of earth for us, like for instance, pig's root. They help to aerate the ground naturally. It's not equipment that is tilling. Their feces is potent and very rich in nutrients. They also help a way of providing for our food waste, our kitchen scraps. So carrot tops that can't be used at the quantity that we're growing, these animals get to eat that rather than it going to a landfill. Because about 24% of our landfills is food waste. And then we also look at our population that is starving. So it's a very big problem. And so we don't want to play a role in that. So having animals is a great way of reducing our waste, helping the soil fertility, and also being an educational access point for the community. They don't have to travel very far to get an experience with a farm animal or a farm.
And there's been a lot of discussion in recent years about the food insecurity situation here in the United States, certainly throughout the world, and some of the regulations, not only in the state of Michigan, but throughout the U.S., where leftover food from restaurants or food that is sent back because it's not necessarily satisfactory to the person it's being served to, not being able to be boxed up and be provided to people that may not have access to food. It has to then go into a landfill. So a situation like that would certainly be more prudent to the situation with food waste than it going to a landfill. That being said, in the end, the zoning board decided it didn't have enough information and voted 5-0 to table this issue. The next meeting will be on September 8th and will include a guided tour of the restaurant facilities. It's a really detailed article from the Oakland Press, from our friends over there at the Oakland Press about this, and Paula Passy wrote a really nice article about that. You can find that on the Oakland Press's website. So Chris, Kristina, just another couple minutes left before we'll say goodbye today. Is there anything else that would be interesting or important for our audience to know, or anything else you'd like to say today?
Yeah, so I mean, earlier we discussed, the hyper seasonality of the menu, and that's something that we're really focusing on, because right now is like home run season for
The bounty time.
Yeah, everything is coming in, so our menu is getting more diverse as we go now. All sorts of Michigan produce is coming in, and a lot of people don't understand or realize that Michigan is the second most diverse crop producer in the United States, only following California. So I mean, it's all here, and we're going to be taking advantage of that over the next couple of months as everything comes in. And we'd just like people to come in and enjoy an amazing experience and be able to experience it with us. So.
Chris, you said your reservations open up about 60 days in advance, and people need to get on that right away. They're still very busy over there. So if they want to make a reservation in advance so they can get in at the Sylvan Table restaurant, how can they do that?
So we have our reservation system is set up through Talk, which is one of the two big reservation sites, and that's all online, or you can call the restaurant.
All right. Well, Chris, Kristina, we appreciate having you on today. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Chris Gadulka and Kristina Pruccoli from the Sylvan Table restaurant